Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped. And people began looking into it.
But yeah, it's just getting super nasty, and it seems like he's not cowering to this attempted gag order.
Yeah, I don't really understand Blake Lively's point here.
Let's unravel one of the most mind-blowing Hollywood scandals of recent times. A story so wild and full of shocking twists, it feels like it was ripped straight from the script of a blockbuster thriller. Imagine this. One of Hollywood's golden couples, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, their flawless public image shattered by a scandal no one saw coming. At the center of it all, a fiery clash with none other than Justin Baldoni, their co-star and director of It Ends With Us. But don't be fooled. This isn't just another petty Hollywood feud. Oh no. This is a full-blown storm of leaked recordings, courtroom showdowns, and conspiracy theories so deep, they'll make you question everything you thought you knew. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, and let's dive headfirst into the chaos, starting from the very moment the first cracks in this seemingly perfect fairy tale began to show.
They believe that it's a continuation of the smear campaign that Blake initially claims happened while they were promoting the film.
First up, let's speak about the jaw-dropping incident that has everyone talking. The now infamous economics podcast episode starring Hollywood power broker Ari Emanuel. And trust me, this is where things take a wild turn. Emanuel, the super agent representing both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, arrived on the show and did not hold back. He straight up referred to Justin Baldoni as Justin Baldwin and threw some significant shade at his professionalism. According to Emanuel, Baldoni was ousted from their agency under direct pressure from Ryan and Blake. But here's where it gets really intriguing. That very episode, the one that could have landed Emanuel and his A-list clients in deep trouble, somehow never got recorded. Yep, you heard that right. The audio, gone. The video, vanished. Now let's think about this for a second. Freakonomics has been running strong for over a decade, recording thousands of episodes without a hitch. And yet, this one episode, packed with explosive claims about Hollywood's elite, just so happens to be the only one that mysteriously disappears, accident, or something far more calculated. You decide.
I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint.
When a journalist releases what appears to be a private recording of the incident, the situation becomes even more suspect. Emanuel acknowledges in the audio leak that Baldoni was fired due to pressure from his A-list clientele. The icing on the cake? To show how devoted he is to Blake and Ryan, Emanuel calls them his ride or perish nurse. Here's the worst part, though. The official narrative that Emanuel and his staff are pushing is directly at odds with this released tape. You now know the reason why so many people are accusing this of being a cover-up. The technical malfunction and the spill that followed came at almost the ideal moment. In the name of safeguarding Hollywood's elite, it seems as though someone pressed the panic button and chose to remove this episode from the world. Now the question is, who is in charge behind the scenes, and how far would they go to hide their secrets?
It's creepy Baldoni getting close to her, obviously making small chatter not in character so as not to make the scene, which didn't require dialogue, awkward. And he says,
wait until you hear about Blake Lively's reinforcements in this war if you think that's suspicious. Nick Shapiro, a former deputy head of staff at the CIA, has apparently been hired by her legal team. Indeed. Yes, you heard correctly. Her inner circle now includes a former intelligence official who has a track record of fabricating stories and influencing public opinion. When a Hollywood actress feels the need to bring in someone with that kind of background, what does it indicate about the current level of this feud? Skeptics point out that Shapiro's specialty is in damage control and misdirection. Therefore, his involvement has merely fueled the flames. This has become a literal game of psychological warfare, as if the stakes are so great. How far will they go to suppress their critics, and what are they trying to conceal? The story becomes more complex.
I'm just asking the question, like, how are women allowed to do this, to take something and to make it sound like you survived a rape? Because that's what it sounded like to the public.
Let's not lose sight of the bigger picture here. What started as a simple clash between co-stars has escalated into something far more significant, something that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood itself. At the heart of it all, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, the power couple who once seemed invincible. Their entire public persona thrives on charm, humor, and an effortless relatability. They're the duo known for their playful social media exchanges, generous philanthropy, and the picture-perfect balance of love and success. But as the old saying goes, the higher the pedestal, the harder the fall. And right now, it looks like their flawless image is beginning to show some serious cracks under the relentless gaze of public scrutiny.
I'll agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to high treason.
Naturally, the fact that more and more of their past is being brought to light doesn't help either. Consider the rediscovered video of Reynolds cracking an offensive joke years ago while appearing on a talk show. Discussions over his sense of humor and whether it goes too far have been rekindled by the joke, which many people considered extremely insulting. Given the ongoing legal dispute and the charges about him and Blake, the timing of this reappearance is particularly damaging. It seems as though someone is searching through the archives for anything that could be used against them. Let's not overlook the timeless wisdom of Hollywood. Nothing is ever truly buried.
Got some major scoops. I mean, everybody's talking because the sink is shipping and people want to get onto lifeboats. So let's jump right in. Welcome back to camp.
Meanwhile, Blake is having her own set of struggles, and they're not nice. Former colleagues and co-stars are suddenly coming from the shadows, revealing unpleasant recollections about what it was truly like to work with her. Reports are surfacing of diva-like behavior, a dismissive attitude, and a general unwillingness to communicate with others on set. The once adored actress is being depicted in a completely different light. One former co-star even went as far as to describe her unpleasant and unapproachable, stating she wouldn't even make eye contact during their chats. While these charges aren't directly tied to the court struggle, they're clearly doing damage, slowly eating away at her public image and making it tougher for followers to stand for her. Let's be honest, it's always easier to support someone you like and respect. And right now, Blake's likability is taking a major nosedive. Before I spill all the jaw-dropping details I uncovered over the weekend, let's break down the most shocking revelations from the latest court filings. But perhaps the most damning part of this entire scandal isn't just the legal drama, it's the way public opinion is shifting. Social media has turned into an all-out war zone, with fans and critics picking sides in this increasingly messy situation. Blake has reportedly lost nearly 1 million followers across her platforms, while Baldoni's numbers are skyrocketing. And no, this isn't just some fluke caused by bots or algorithms. This is real people actively choosing to distance themselves from her and align with someone else. And if you're wondering why that matters, let me lay it out for you. In today's environment, public opinion may make or break a career, especially for superstars who rely on their connection with followers to stay relevant. The fact that Blake is bleeding followers while Baldoni's gaining them, that speaks everything about where the court of public opinion is right now.
Going to very quickly before I give you all of the tea that I got over the weekend, I'm going to go over the biggest revelations from the filing.
And then there's Ari Emanuel, who, for better or worse, has become a pivotal role in this narrative. His decision to publicly defend Ryan and Blake while putting Baldoni under the bus has only added to the drama. On one hand, it shows exactly how committed he is to his A-list clients. On the other side, it raises doubts about his personal position in this incident. Is he simply doing his job as their agent, a course, or is there more to his participation than meets the eye? And let's not forget the arrogance of his remarks on the Freakonomics show, where he didn't simply defend Blake and Ryan, but aggressively attacked Baldoni, calling him baloney. It's the kind of behavior that makes you think, is this all part of a deliberate strategy, or is Emanuel letting his emotions get the better of him?
With you. Like, he literally tells Ryan he wants to be friends with you. And I can just see Ryan sitting there like, yes, this is exactly what I want, a puppy to kick in the mouth. And you'll do what I say.
As more details come to light, one thing is becoming undeniable. This isn't just a simple clash between co-stars. It has escalated into a full-fledged Hollywood controversy, packed with shocking leaks, legal battles, and accusations of behind-the-scenes sabotage. This unfolding drama has entangled some of the most influential figures in the industry, exposing the extreme lengths people will go to in order to protect their images. Yet despite all the revelations, countless questions remain. Who's really telling the truth? Who's hiding behind the lies? And most importantly, what explosive twist is coming next? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. And as we head into the next chapter, the tension is only going to skyrocket.
Genuinely, Steph, if you're watching this, I genuinely don't like Blake Lively. Like I genuinely know. I've known she's a brat. So nobody's paying me to say this.
As if the drama couldn't be any murkier, let's take a closer look at this constantly changing Hollywood extravaganza. This feud's repercussions are not limited to social media and courtrooms. It's permeating every aspect of the entertainment sector, bringing in new competitors, rekindling old animosities, and changing the story in unexpected ways. A quarrel between co-stars that began as a professional one has evolved into a battlefield for alliances, reputations, and possibly even careers. Let's be honest, a scandal is always welcome in Hollywood, but this one is a whole other level.
Told me to say this. I think people really didn't like her during those premiere things, and there was no plot against you, okay? Come down from your high horse.
Let's discuss the repercussions. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni are no longer the only ones involved. Everyone in their orbit is at stake. Consider Taylor Swift as an example. For years, she has been one of Lively's closest friends, regularly posting adorable pictures of herself online and even naming characters in her songs after Blake and Ryan's children. However, it has now been revealed that Swift is being subpoenaed in relation to this legal drama. Indeed. Yes, you heard correctly. The musical sensation is being pulled into this mess after successfully avoiding controversy for the past few years. Swift, a longtime confidant of Lively, may have important knowledge of the backstage dynamics of the It Ends With Us production, according to Baldoni's legal team. Insiders are speculating that Swift isn't happy about being in the crossfire, as if that weren't bad enough. Is this the start of a falling out between the two friends? Speculation has already begun among fans. Furthermore, additional conjecture is the last thing this scenario needs.
One of the most significant allegations in Baldoni's lawsuit is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film.
But Swift isn't the only one being dragged into the fire. Former co-stars, industry insiders, and executives get caught up in a web of accusations and counter-accusations. Blake's legal team has worked hard to develop their case, including attempting to subpoena years of records from Baldoni's associates. Although the judge denied the motion as too broad, rumors continue to circulate. What did they hope to uncover in those records? And what does it suggest about Lively's team's willingness to go to extremes? The sheer act of requesting such comprehensive data has sparked concerns, with some questioning whether Blake's legal tactic is bordering on desperation.
Now you have two sides here, right? So Baldoni says this was all an effort to hijack the film to get her way. Lively claims she was the victim of harassment in a hostile work environment.
Then there's the issue of reputation management. Both sides aim to influence public opinion in addition to achieving legal victory. Lively's team just hired Nick Shapiro, a former CIA deputy known for his crisis management expertise. While some have hailed this action as a clever approach to counterbalance the harm to her reputation, others believe it indicates that things are worse than they appear. After all, hiring someone with an intelligence background is hardly the conventional decision for a Hollywood celebrity. Why are they trying to twist the narrative? And why do they require someone with such a distinct skill set to control?
Lively's team has denied all of these allegations. They have responded to this filing, this lawsuit.
Meanwhile, Baldoni's squad is doubling down on the typical underdog angle. They've been painstakingly releasing papers and statements that depict him as the target of a deliberate smear effort. In a very daring move, they even developed a website where the public can see legal documents firsthand, clearly demonstrating that they have nothing to hide and are standing firm on their side of the story. And here's the kicker, it's actually working. Baldoni's social media presence has exploded, with followers rallying around him, seeing him as a victim of Hollywood's power people. The irony? It's almost poetry. In their attempt to defend their own reputations, Lively and Reynolds may have accidentally magnified Baldoni's.
New video released by lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni showed unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us.
But let's address the obvious. Ari Emanuel, the WME powerhouse, has stayed strongly behind Lively and Reynolds, but his involvement has simply thrown more fuel on the flames. By publicly defending the marriage while flatly denouncing Baldoni as baloney, Emanuel has stirred controversy, with some blasting him for being unprofessional and plainly biased. And then there's the peculiar instance of the Freakonomics podcast episode, one that, for some reason, never got recorded. Emmanuel claims it was only a technical fault. But for doubters, the timing is a little too fortunate. After all, this was the one episode where his statements could have produced major trouble, not just for him, but for his high-profile clientele. The whole situation screams damage control, and it only adds to the growing feeling that there is a lot more to the story than meets the eye.
Of his career, he has been a major proponent of feminism, of healthy masculinity. How does it feel for him?
As if this weren't enough, the couple's reputation in Hollywood is now beginning to suffer as a result of the scandal. According to reports, industry insiders are avoiding Lively and Reynolds out of concern that they will get entangled in the controversy. The intricacy of this scenario is overshadowing the pair's philanthropic activities and likable public personas, which they have long been known for. Even their lack of participation in this year's major award events has drawn attention. Although Reynolds' absence at the Golden Globes was first justified as a personal decision, many now believe it was an effort to dodge uncomfortable inquiries on the ongoing legal issue. Let's take a moment to discuss that awkwardness. The revival of old Hollywood rumors has been one of the most strange aspects of this conflict. When Lively and Reynolds were both in relationships, did you recall the tales that circulated about their supposed chemistry on the Green Lantern set? These rumors are resurfacing, and some people believe that the current drama may have been sparked by their readiness to blur personal and professional lines in the past. Is it justifiable to unearth the past? Most likely not. However, nothing remains hidden for very long in Hollywood. Furthermore, in a scandal of this size, every detail, no matter how old, is being scrutinized again.
Shutting down a woman's claim.
She is claiming that there was harassment. He's saying none of it is true, never happened, never did.